Jazzcast Pros.
Welcome to the Healthy Illness Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Marie, and Healthy Illness is all about helping you build healthier relationships while living with mental health conditions. In this episode, while we usually talk about mental health and all of the ways in which mental health impacts the other places and areas of our life, this episode is really an update for you about the progress I've made since my back surgery. So, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I had back surgery. I lost mobility in my left leg and left hand, like really the left side of my body, and needed to have a surgery to remove parts of the spine because the spine was growing into my spinal cord, and then have some rods and screws put in place. I had to go through therapy and learn how to walk and all of those things. It was an epic adventure of epic proportions, let me tell you. But in the meantime, I have not, well, listen, I can walk, y'all. It's incredible. But I have not picked up cycling again. Have gone out on rides. Big shout out to Brittany, who went out last year with me on a bike ride. I have not been out on a bike ride this year, and I am experiencing some issues with my left leg still. So my doctors put me in physical therapy, and what I have found absolutely incredible. One is physical therapy has really been working for me and has really given me increased movement, increased flexibility. I'm able to kind of move and groove better. I walk better. When I get up, I'm not all hunched over. I kind of stand up straight. I think I'm sitting up straight more. My posture is better just in the length of time that I have been, doing this PT work. It's been 2.5 months that I've been in physical therapy, wrapping up my time so that I will be on my own pretty soon. I'm down to one session a week for the next 4 weeks, and then I'm off on my own to figure out, well, not really figure out what I do with my body because they're teaching me that. So I'll have the plan. But here's the thing that I have noticed in my time in therapy: physical therapy is a damn privilege. Like, not just from a medical perspective. So here are a couple things, and unfortunately I don't have any solutions besides rebuild the system, like rebuild the medical system. We need to prioritize health. We need to prioritize wellness up front and not on the back end when it's expensive as heck. So it came to me while I was sitting in therapy. A big shout out to the folks at ECMC. Leah is my therapist. So if you have Leah as a therapist, she's the bomb. But everybody there is great. But I've learned in just being in that space how much of a privilege it is. Yes, I have incredible insurance. I have a great day job. It has great insurance. And so I'm able to afford to go to my physical therapy sessions because my copay is low. Some folks have insurance and there's no copays. Like, I wish, right? But it is what it is. I am able to pay my copay. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying everybody does not have that privilege of having medical insurance that will cover their physical therapy in the ways in which it needs to be covered. That's just one thing. But there are a couple other things that I've noticed. And again, I don't have the solution. Maybe by the time I get all the words out, I'll have a solution for you. But one of the other things that I realize is, yes, you have to go several times a week. You have to have the time to be able to go several times a week, not just the actual hour for the appointment, but you've got to travel there. So do you have transportation to get to the therapy appointment? Then once you get there, you've got to spend the hour there in therapy, and then you got to get back home or get to work. Are you in a position where you could take off time from work to be able to go to physical therapy? Because most physical therapy places are open only during the day, only during regular business hours when most people are working. So how does a regular person out in these regular streets make time to go to physical therapy? So now, if you've got to take time off from work a couple times a week to be able to go, it's not just for the hour. It has to include travel. So it's more than an hour. You're talking 2.5 or an hour and a half, depending, 2 hours. Listen, and every community is not like Buffalo, where you can get to any place in a car in 20 to 25 minutes. So that's a privilege in and of itself. If you have a car and live in a place like Buffalo, you can get there quickly. If not, you take the bus and it's going to take you, might do better walking, right? And so there's two things, right? You got to have the time to be able to get there. You got to have the insurance to pay for it, or you got to be able to pay for it out of pocket. First of all, a physical therapy appointment is like car payment status, right? So it's not like you just, let me save up $50 to go to this physical therapy appointment. That's probably the copay. Another conversation, right? So insurance, time to get there. So time off from work. Not only that, but it's not like that's the only time you've got to do the thing, do the therapy. They give you, at least for me, and this is generally how it works. I'm not a physical therapist, so I'm not going to tell you what everybody, has to go through. But you get this physical therapy appointment, you go, they give you exercises you have to do during your in between time. Again, a part of this is to teach you how to move your body and work your body so that you can maintain, in a case like mine where I have a chronic condition, maintain this really for the lifespan. Like, I'm not going to be able to not do these exercises after 6 months because I'll be healed. This is a chronic situation. I'm going to say stuck with this for the rest of my life, but I'm going to be stuck with this for the rest of my life. So what does that look like? You have 2 to 3 appointments a week. Takes an hour for the appointment plus change for transportation. But then the days you're not in therapy, you still have to do the exercises. So is it just a quick 5-minute thing? No. You listen, the exercises I have to do take me an hour. I actually stop after an hour, because if I do all of the things, I'm looking at an hour and a half to do all of the exercises that I need to do to be able to, you know, have better motion and all that stuff. And I'm saying an hour and a half, but even that's the stretches, and then the strengthening part is like another half an hour. It's a lot of time. Who, except someone who doesn't have children to take care of, or parents or loved one to take care of, someone that, has a flexible-ish, schedule. I can schedule in my doctor's appointments into my work schedule. How many of us have that luxury? So now, yes, I've elevated from privilege to luxury. How many of us have the luxury? I'm thankful that I do, right? Man, I'm really thankful that I do. But who has that much time? So I already get up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to be able to function, take my medication, so my body's working. And in addition to that, I need to take an hour, hour and a half just to do the stretches to help my body move better in the morning and at night. What? So that's 2.5, 3 hours for stretching a day? Who, except for professional athletes, have that kind of time? I just, it's crazy. And so not everybody has a chronic condition. I get that. Some folks are recovering from accidents or, just stuff that happens, right? And you don't have to spend the rest of your life in this therapeutic state. I'm happy for you. For the rest of us, how are we supposed to function? How are we supposed to do the work? How do people prioritize their body functioning properly so that they can move over going to work, over taking care of family, over all of the other things in your life? There's just, again, luxury here, right? But what a luxury it is to be able to take care of my body in order to do basic life stuff. Tell me how that makes sense. Because it absolutely does not. at all make any sense. And so, in some of the spaces that I'm in here, we have several organizations, healthcare organizations that have mobile clinics and things like that. And so, I'm wondering, like, can we create some type of mobile therapy unit or take therapy to the community centers? There has to be a way that this model, which makes no sense except that it's meant to make people richer, but make the rich people richer, not the poor people, but the rich people richer. There's got to be a way that we can work this out, because if you can't afford the therapy or the copay, you can't afford the time, either the time to go to the actual appointment or the time to actually implement the plan that you're learning during the appointment in your day-to-day life, you end up living in pain. Well, living with pain is freaking painful, because it's pain. And so what alternatives do people have? Self-medication, right? There's only so much Tylenol and so much ibuprofen you can take before your liver and your kidneys fail. So what is someone supposed to do? I need to know, because I just I'm at a loss for words, because how have we reached this point? Now, there's a lot of points we've reached lately that, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not trying to figure out how we got here. I know how we got here, but that is not the topic of our conversation today. So I'm staying out of politics. I'm staying out of government, except as it relates to medical insurance and physical therapy. That is the scope of this conversation. But how do we begin to change the medical model? One, so that we are more prevention focused. We do more work in keeping people healthy and maybe addressing issues sooner. Stop penalizing employees that need to take care of their bodies so that they can work. We change the payment system. And I know that there's been talk out there about changing the insurance payment system so it's more value based versus transactional. Like that could work too. That's a way that it can work too, I'll say. But there's got to be something we can do. I'm sure that there are folks, and so listen, let me not even go down that route. What I know works for me and has worked for many people, evidence-based work, is mindfulness. And so I am working to bring that tool to community members in a way that is cost effective and makes sense for people to be able to participate in. Because honestly, I don't believe people should have to pay to be able to learn how to take care of their bodies. So I don't know how to do that in a way that I can keep my lights on, but there's got to be a way, right? But mindfulness for me has been so crucial to my ability to manage my pain. You know, I we did the mindfulness exercise a couple weeks ago, and there's something about sitting in that kind of the technical terms that are used in mindfulness are dropping into the pain, dropping into the body to feel the pain, and you feel it, but to observe it versus saying, ouch, that hurts. Talk about what the pain is. It's prickly, it's short, or it's long, it's sharp and stabbing, like to really experience the pain in a different way. And I have found that to be beneficial to me. Many people have found it to be beneficial, and evidence research shows that that is a beneficial way to help folks with chronic pain manage their pain. Everybody does not understand mindfulness and how it works and mindfulness-based stress reduction. And so again, that's one of the things that I would love to bring to the people. I'm working on it. And at the same time, mindfulness can't be the only answer. It can't be, oh, you're just going to have to live with the pain. Everybody's just got to live with the pain. Something's got to change. Something's got to give. And I honestly believe that we are the people to figure out what that is and how it works. So I'm going to keep doing my part. I'm going to ask you to keep doing your part. What does that look like? You tell me. I need to know. I am thankful, again, that I'm able to afford physical therapy, both in money, in insurance, and in time for therapy and time in my home to be able to do the work. But it hasn't always been this way. This is not my first time taking physical therapy. This is the first time I've taken physical therapy and it's worked, because this is the first time in my life that I have had the opportunity to really pour into and focus on the physical therapy. Up until now, I either did not have the insurance, did not have the money, or did not have the time. That is very real. And I'm very aware of my yesterday and how those days have been spent and how those days pour into how I am living now. And is it possible that had I been able to take care of these issues earlier, that I would not currently be living with the type of pain and disability, I'll say, that I live with? I don't have that answer. Can't go back in time and figure it out. But I do know for folks that are experiencing minimal pain and can benefit from therapy now, so that the pain is not exacerbated and made worse over time, there's a way to reach those folks. And that is what we need to begin to do. We need to begin to focus on this holistic understanding of the body, of how to take care of ourselves and change the system so that people can have the types of services that they need in order to live a healthy life. This is a rich country. There is no reason why we the people, should be in these places feeling left out, disenfranchised, hurt, and broken. Absolutely ridiculous. And so how do we, as a people, make those changes to our system? That's as far as I'm going to go on that. Physical therapy is a privilege, and it should not be. And so, on the brighter side of things, the upside, I guess, again, it's working for me. I see the change. I see how my body is functioning differently. And I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to be able to pour into myself in this way, and that the things around me are set up in a way to allow me to take the time to take care of myself. So with that, I encourage you to be the light always. And I would love to know, for all the parents in the house, but no, all the people, if you've taken physical therapy and you've had to make those sacrifices or changes, or you sat in a place of privilege and, are kind of like me right now, you're able to work it out, and it's not an issue. I'd like to know. I'd like to hear from you. Email, same email, frontseatlife@gmail.com. Instagram, the Front Seat Life. Facebook, it's Kelly Marie Hopes, but also the Front Seat Life. I do have some conversations coming, more about doula work. I recently completed my postpartum doula education program. And so that is something I'm able to provide from a I was always able to provide it, and we've talked about that, in the past, but I've completed additional education so that I can be a better doula for my clients, and can focus solely on postpartum doula work if that is something that a client needs. So more to come on that, because I want you to know the difference between birthing doula and postpartum doula certification or education, through Medicaid and that kind of stuff is the same, but there's knowledge one needs to know in order to do well in both of those spaces, because they are not the same. So more to come on that. I hope that you listened to the two episodes that I spent with Shannon Johns from Call Me Nature Doula Services. That is the organization that I do my doula work through. Was not, I don't believe at the time, but that is an update in the life of doula. Big shout out to the clients. Yes, there are clients that call me doula. How cool is that? But yeah, I wanna update you on that so you have a better understanding. I have some guests coming, and I did attend the U.S. Open. And it was absolutely incredible. I think Australia's next. I'm not sure. I think Australia is next, but I want to update you on the experience. It was incredible, absolutely incredible, and what I would love to see happen on the podcast. So I will give you my plea to the tennis stars on the next episode of the Healthy Illness Podcast. Oh, listen, did you get your tickets? Are you coming to the Aligned Entrepreneur Pod-a-thon in Rochester? I know that you've heard about it. The commercial is in the podcast. I need to see you there. I need to see you there. Yeah, man, be the light. If you're looking for services, 211, you know that. And listen, you're not alone. You are not alone. If you are in a place and you are in crisis, you need someone to talk to, you're suicidal, you're in danger of hurting yourself or hurting others, call 988. Someone's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to talk to you. You can call for a friend because, let's face it, everyone does not want to call when in need. But if you have a friend, loved one, a relative that is in need, you can call and talk to someone to help them through that space and to get them connected. 988. We have to change the culture of conversation around mental health and wellness, around physical health and wellness, and what that means. And so I encourage you, again, you to do your part. I'm going to be out here doing mine. Hold me accountable, and I will hold you accountable as well. Until the next time, take care. Be the light.